What I want to talk about is whether or not the world is shrinking like the pundits all say. For a long time now, those of us who pay attention to these kind of things have been noticing people talking about, oh, the world is smaller, it's never been a smaller place. If someone from Tibet can be talking with someone from Toronto and then at the same time be selling something to someone in Timbuktu, the world has shrunk. And that's true, and yet also not the full picture. See, there's actually two tracks to world shrinkage. One of them is a communication track, and we're doing phenomenally well on that. Never, ever have we communicated more efficiently than now. The whole world is wiring itself together, or wirelessly wiring itself together, in a way that is absolutely unprecedented. It's amazing. But the other track, and arguably the even more important track, is travel. Travel technology. See, for many years, communication technology was stagnant. Pretty much, you had the invention of writing, and then up to the printing press, communications technology was roughly the same. It didn't go anywhere. But travel technologies, those started revolutions. From the domestication of the horse, or the oxen, or whatever, to the invention of the canals that both Japan and Britain put all through their country and made a very efficient network of a very efficient way for goods and people to move around, to, of course, the modern day and the automobile, and all that revolutionized. And then we get to the jet airliner, the jumbo jet, the jet set. And that was another extraordinary revolution. Air flight itself was phenomenal, but when you're talking about what changed the life of the most people the most, it was the fact that you could now get, say, from New York to London without having to take a boat there, which would take weeks. And not only that, as the system grew and became more entrenched and sophisticated, this actually became affordable. Not cheap, but affordable. It used to be that if you wanted to travel to a different continent, like say you wanted to cross the Atlantic, you had to be rich and you had to have a lot of time. Most people never went all that far, even after the dawn of the automotive. They never really went all that far away from their hometown. Maybe they went to the next state or whatever, but they didn't have as much free time, and they didn't have access to air travel as easily. But the jet airliner, now that just changed everything. But here's the thing. That was the last thing that really did, in terms of your average consumer, in terms of the large number of people and the impact on their lives. There's another travel revolution that happened kind of quietly. Well, not a travel revolution, but a transport revolution, and that's the container ship revolution. Standard containers, standard ships. You can predict exactly how much you need to charge per square foot for traveling goods and for transporting goods, and that has never been cheaper. But people don't travel by container. Well, they're not supposed to anyway. In terms of the average person getting from point A to point B, it's been pretty much the same since the 60s. The Concorde was supposed to change all that, and it was supposed to be the next evolution from, prop plane to jet to the Concorde jet. And I still am not sure exactly why the Concorde isn't around anymore. I think I read somewhere that it was because of people complaining about sonic booms, which is legitimate. I mean, the sonic boom must really suck. But you'd think there'd be ways around that. You'd think they could, redesign the plane, maybe, or just use the Concorde over the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean, and that way maybe you give a couple of fish a headache, but other than that, you're fine. Anyway, so that's where we are right now. We haven't had the world get smaller for our bodies rather than just our minds in like 50 years. It's pretty much been the same. That's why I think that we're overdue for a revolution in transport of some sort. But people have been trying to kick that off for a long time now, and it just doesn't seem to get anywhere. And we're all, we all figure progress is infinite, and so we don't usually think that there may actually be a limit. It may be that there is actually, with current technology and current imaginable technology, there is no cheaper way to get people from point A to point B that we can conceive of, than cars, buses, and planes, trains, etc. So, what is it? Are we up against a hard limit? Or at least a firm limit? I'd hate to think so, but the only thing I can think of is that if some of the material science and energy science that's going on now could possibly kick off something like now you can make a jet that's you invent some extraordinarily light and strong material, you make a jet out of that, and its efficiency is enormous because it's got so much less weight to push. Same engine, lighter plane, it takes way less fuel, it takes way less energy, blah blah blah. Alternately, a different way of fueling them could achieve the same thing. Someone invents a way to make fuel for airplanes out of, banana skins, and that's extremely cheap, and that also makes things more efficient. But what it really boils down to is that all we can really conceive of right now is refinements to what we have right now. I mean, what else is there? We're certainly not going to start traveling by rocket like so many of those awesome 50s science fiction stories predicted. So, what are we up against? I mean, how possibly, unless you want to jump all the way into something like teleportation, which is, of course, not really conceivable right now with current technology, except in a very theoretical sense. I mean, you can conceive of anything, but tell me how it's going to happen. And don't say quantum teleportation, because that is not going to be it anytime soon. Alright, it's not really teleportation anyway. What moves is information, not matter. Anywho. So, I leave it open to you, my viewers, my listeners. What is the next revolution in transport, in travel, How can we move people from point A to point B in a way that is so much better than what we have now that it counts as a revolution? Something that would really change things. Would it be high-speed rail? Would it be solar blimps? Would it be, I don't know, flying cars? I want to know what you think. What could or will, if you want to be bold, be the next big revolution in transport? What will really make the world smaller? Talk to me in the comments.